Hello, and thank you for joining us to talk more on Monday. This podcast was started to give a voice to More's mission of making opportunities reachable for everyone, and continues today as a way for us to share the mic with like-minded individuals with their own stories to share. Talking More has become our channel for history, mindsets, information that you need, and featuring our interns who are learning how to share their voice. Join us on Patreon for our masterclass with More, hosted by Bria Bradley, as she deep dives with experts on a host of topics key to building your business and your legacy. You'll find our founder content hosted by our founder Ariana as part of our masterclass, where business owners share lessons they've learned while in business. This month, we're diving into love, business, and culture. In this conversation and offline, we explore how, as women, we have a hand in cultivating spaces that not only include but also elevate the women around us. With that, let's talk more with Amber Fields. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you and meet you and have you in this space. We're very excited to get to host people here and have these conversations face to face.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a great space.
Yeah, thank you so much. So before we get into our topic, just in case you guys don't know who Amber Fields is, let's talk about it. Amber Fields is a culture enthusiast, serving as a partner and chief culture officer at TrueU. She's committed to helping businesses drive results through their most valued asset, people. Hello. She is intentional about creating a culture where people want to be a part of the mission and vision every day. Amber has been the lead culture advocate and advisor to nonprofits and business leaders in our community to help them be efficient, stay competitive, cutting edge, and innovative. Amber is a dynamic connector, bringing all the right people to the table to achieve desired results. She's passionate about leadership development that allows people and businesses to reach their highest potential. She is a philanthropist who cares deeply about serving the community through building awareness, raising funds, and providing resources to help organizations like Damar Services, the Dove Recovery House, Hope Anchor, and Crew, alongside other organizations. Amber is an Indiana native and received her undergraduate degree at the University of Indianapolis. She is the podcast host of the Courageous Love podcast. She has been married to her husband Daniel for 22 years, has 5 beautiful kids, and resides in Fishers, Indiana.
Yes. I need to update that to one more thing because we had an addition last year.
Oh, yeah?
Our oldest son had his first daughter.
Oh, my
So
gosh.
I became a Lola.
No way.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, that is really exciting.
Yes. There are no grands in our family.
Yeah, I love
Too
that.
young for that business.
Exactly. Literally no one would ever know.
Yeah, she's adorable, and her name is Riley.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so awesome. We love the expansion of a family.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I can't wait to talk to you about everything. But my first question for you is your role as Chief Culture Officer at TrueU.
Yeah.
How does this influence your approach to building inclusive and supportive specifically for women in business?
Yeah, I think, I love this title. It's funny that we're talking about this today because I was actually going back and forth. The role was initially designed to help organizations really understand what culture is, how they can continue to invest in their people so that their cultures continue to grow, which of course we do that. And my role has expanded and grown as the organization has grown.
Naturally.
So, yeah. So the role that I play today is obviously a culture advisor to our clients and our members, but I'm also the chief growth officer. So I'm responsible for all things revenue-based, growth-based, relationship-based. Yeah. And I love it because before I came to TrueU, I was really resistant to the role that I played. I had an identity issue with being in sales. I really did not want to be in sales, but I just so happened to be good at it.
Right. Oh, so annoying.
But I think part of what how the conversation will go today is you will see as I started to settle into what I'm really good at, the value that I bring to an organization. I started to see that being in sales, it kind of had a negative connotation to it, right?
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm a problem solver and I'm a servant leader.
Mm-hmm.
And so what that means is I get to help businesses and people become the best versions of themselves.
Yeah.
And when they do that, they will live their very best lives. They will thrive. Things will grow. And so that's really what Chief Culture Officer means.
Yeah. It's like the very best version of human resources.
Yes. Yes.
I love that. What
Yes.
it has always ought to have been.
Yes, exactly.
That's
and
really
human
exciting.
Resources encompasses so many things.
Right.
I mean, from people to process to protection of the organization.
Yeah.
We're really trying to rebrand that and give it a positive, name for it instead of it always being HR
Right.
or people. Funny story about that. When I have a background in sales, as I mentioned, but I sold IT managed services. So I always say, if you can sell technology, you can sell anything, because it was hard, right? It was a have to. If you were talking to me, it was because you were unhappy with your current provider, things weren't working, it was a tough sell. So I'm sitting down with a mentor. His name is Joe Indiano, and he's a big tech guy, great connector in our community. And when I was telling him my story, he said, Amber, you belong in HR, right? I said, ew, no. No, sir.
God,
he
to
said,
go
no,
from sales to HR.
I know. And he was like, no. He said, the culture and people side of HR, Amber, the investing in people, the helping people grow side of HR. And I was like, is that even a thing? And he said, oh, yeah. And so he planted this seed. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that TrueU was going to come. Chris Mills is inevitably the person who got me here, introduced me to Mike Lance, and that's all she wrote. Here we are. But he planted a seed in me that I'm really strong in my faith, that I was really praying about. Okay, God, if this is something that you want me to pursue, then you will open a door and create a pathway forward.
And look what happened.
So
that's amazing. I love that journey. And I think it's also very meaningful that two things that do absolutely have this negative connotation got to be spun into something so positive and something that you are so passionate about and obviously so good at.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good time. We're having a good time.
Yeah.
I think we're making a really big difference. And so,
reclaiming these ideas.
That's right. That's right.
Why is it so crucial for women to advocate for themselves in their workplaces, and what obstacles stand in the way of them doing so?
I think the greatest obstacle is ourselves. Oftentimes, we do not know the value that we bring to anyone, to an organization.
So true.
We don't know. Mm-hmm. We don't know the values that we stand for. We don't really know what matters to us because we've spent most of our lives serving other people.
Yep.
Right?
That's what women do.
Right.
Yeah.
So for us to take inventory of the things that we've accomplished in our lives, we often feel like it is prideful to do that.
Yeah.
And we need to be taking inventory and really looking at the values that we honor. Like, what are our core values? What are the things that matter to us? Because those are the things that we make decisions based on. Mm-hmm. Secondarily, we need to know what value that we bring to an organization. What are our accomplishments are something that we should be proud of, not prideful of, right? But proud of, and take inventory of them, because when you're going into an organization and telling them the reasons why they should hire you, you have to know the reasons why they want to hire you.
You got to pitch yourself.
Yeah. And why you would be a good fit for this organization. I mentor a lot of young girls who are like, I don't know what I want to do. And I don't know what value I would bring. And I'm like, you got to do some reflection. Mm-hmm. The thing that I wish someone would have told me in my 20s is that you really have to spend some time getting to know yourself.
Yeah.
What you value, what worth you bring, or your worthiness, but what value you bring to the world, not just to an organization, but to the world.
Right.
What's the feedback that you constantly get that people are complimenting you on?
Yeah.
Is it your joy? Is it your innovation? Is it your patience? I don't know. Whatever it is for you, what is the thing? Yeah. At the same time, taking feedback of opportunities. So what are the areas of growth? I remember when I was young, I had a lot of emotional intelligence that I needed to grow into. Mm. I was making decisions based on emotion instead of facts. And instead of fact gathering, right? And really trying to understand the data of what was around me. Right. So therefore, I wouldn't be in so much reaction to it. I learned this thing called everything is neutral until it's not. Right. Approach things with neutrality and then collect all the evidence, collect all the data, and then make an informed decision. Mm-hmm. Assign the appropriate emotion when it's not so heated or not so. That was like some of the best advice someone had ever I actually took it in a leadership class. I learned it in a leadership course. Yeah. So I think the greatest obstacles, Chloe, are you getting your own self out of the way understanding that you do bring value. It is up to you to figure out what that is. And confidence is tied to outcomes. So what are the outcomes that you have had influence in or have caused and created, which then helps you gain a little confidence? Oh, yeah, I was a part of the team that created that.
Right.
Or I did do that. So then it's not prideful and you can still remain humble.
Yeah. Something we've talked about with other guests, I will read their bio and they will have a moment where they're like, wow, I did actually do all of that. Like, I sound really cool on paper. I'm like, that's because you are. And you just don't take enough time to stop and really like take stock of your accomplishments until it's all this big laundry list. And then you're like, oh, wow. Like every day you should be like, here is everything that I have brought to the table and everything that I will continue to offer.
Oh, my marketing director at the time was like, your first exercise is write your own bio. And I was like, what? No, that's your job. You're in marketing. And she's like, I can't market you until I know what you're about.
Yeah.
So so funny. So I started writing it and I was like, wow, it was the first place where I had to take inventory of, it's a God thing. We don't have time today to get into actually how I got this job. And it was one of those moments where I had to really like take a hard look at my career and go, what have you done and what value will you bring to this organization? Why are people going to think you have credibility in being here? So it's a great exercise. And that was almost 5 years ago. So
that's really exciting. And, you were talking about what people compliment you about, like what they notice about you. That's so great. My mom would call that your spiritual gift.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Like the one thing that just you were put on this planet to shine above all else.
Yeah.
I love it. Can you remember the first time, and maybe you just answered this, but can you remember the first time that you really advocated for yourself in your career?
Oh man, the first time. Yes, I can remember the first time I advocated for myself in my career that led to other opportunities of advocacy. When I worked at Verizon, I was in a leadership program and I was on the business account management side. I was a solutions architect, so I got promoted very quickly. And they do an incredible job of investing in their leaders, helping to give training. I was traveling all over the country doing that. And one of we had to do a capstone, and it was in marketing. By the way, I'm in sales, not marketing.
Right.
So I was like, this seems hard. Jokingly, but I was actually really serious. I was like, I would really like to learn from the top of Verizon and really have an understanding of what marketing, what their philosophy on marketing is.
Yeah.
And so do you think that they would send me to New Jersey and have a conversation with Diego Scotti, who was the chief marketing officer at Verizon?
Oh, dang.
And so they were like, well, I don't know, ask him. So I sent him an email, him and his admin assistant, and just asked, I don't know if you've ever been asked this before, but I would like to come shadow you for the day, learn so that I could bring an educated response to my capstone and my team. They said yes. I'll never forget where I was. It was a Saturday morning. I was getting ready to run a 5K in Fishers, and I look at my email, and it came back and said, no one has ever asked Diego of this. It was his assistant, and they said, we would love to have you. And they sent me to New Jersey. I sat in a boardroom all day with him. His kids came to work that day. It was amazing. I just watched him talk. And I mean, it was meeting after meeting. It was the fastest 8 hours ever of my life. But I just sat there in awe of like, wow, this is incredible. So smart, so many great ideas. And he didn't have all of the ideas. His team was bringing ideas to him, pitching them to him. So at the end of it, this is what happens. The answer is always no if you do not ask. Mm-hmm. So I asked. When I get there, Verizon is doing a documentary with Jamie Foxx on the digital divide and how there are some kids in our society, which comes back to building inclusivity, right? About how these kids don't always have access to communication and access to the digital world where they can get access to the internet to do their work and things.
Right.
And so they're automatically starting out into the world behind everybody else. Mm-hmm. So Verizon's providing them internet, providing them tablets to be able, so just get to be a part of the release of this documentary. I've got pictures of me and Jamie Foxx. Like, you guys, it was a pivotal moment in my career where I was like, I do have influence. I do like, wow, I can ask for and get the things that I want to get.
Right.
And here are the reasons why I need this. Came back, gave an incredible capstone, and it is 100% a part of who I am today and a part of what I do. Go ask for the things that you want. It's okay if the answer is no, but what if the answer is yes?
Right.
It was amazing. And it's just one of those things I always go back to. Like, you have to do it because nobody else is going to.
Right. I feel like so many of the success stories that we've heard have been people saying, well, I just tried. I shot my shot and it worked.
Yeah.
You know,
and I wasn't equipped. I had no idea what I was doing, guys. Like, I was just like, I'm just going to go in there, sit, listen, and learn.
Right.
And it was probably one of the second greatest opportunities of my life but it was the first thing where it was like, it is okay to advocate for yourself. And then then you pave a way for other people to have the courage to advocate for themselves. And then, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit later, but then the ability to have the courage to advocate for other people in rooms that they're not in. That is really important to me, because I would not even be where I am if Chris Mills was not advocating for me in a room that I was not in.
Yeah. And said yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so huge. And I feel like it's a lot of what Moore's mission statement is about, is just making sure that opportunities are reachable for everyone.
Yes.
And everyone means people who are not in our immediate sphere.
Yeah.
Right? People that just might happen upon this podcast or might, get sent an article and suddenly a door is open for them.
And oftentimes women won't advocate for themselves because we don't 100% feel ready or prepared. We, a lot of us suffer from perfectionism or over preparing and being ready for something. And I think that we miss the fact that we get ready throughout the process. Like, everything leading up to this has prepared us for this moment.
Right.
We do have what it takes. We can do the thing. And oh, by the way, failure is actually a part of the game. I think we're so afraid of failing at this thing that we want to do.
Right.
I am guilty of that every day in my job. I can remember when I first started at TrueU, one of the ladies was like, we were having really great success. We grew really fast.
Yeah.
And she says to me, Amber, how do you know what to do? And I'm like, I don't. I'm 100% going off of past experience, my intuition, gut. My God is my gut. So I'm like, this feels right. So we're going to do the thing. And sometimes it was wrong.
Right.
And that's okay, because we learned from it and we did different next time. But
it's so meaningful to do it scared, to do it wrong.
Yeah.
Because you'll do it right eventually.
That's right.
I love
That's
that. Can you remember the first time that you advocated for someone else in your workplace? And how did that feel different from advocating for yourself?
Yeah. Specifically in our workplace, I've got that wrong a few times, right? Because leading is hard.
Yeah.
Leading other people, trying to really understand their come from, but also holding people accountable. And the greatest lesson I think I've learned in my career is leading with empathy and accountability. Creating a safe place for people to grow and to learn and catch them when they fall, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
But one of my team members, and I think I can say this out loud because we've shared this story many a times. Her name is Karina. She has been with us for 3 years, just over 3 years. And she had what it took to be really great at her job. But she needed to grow. She needed some conditioning and some elevation and some confidence, mainly confidence, right? You can teach somebody to fish, but it's really about them understanding how well of a fisherman they are.
Right.
And for Karina, when we sat down and talked through this is what I want, this is where I'm trying to get to, this is where I want to be. I said, okay, are you willing to let me lean into this and really help grow you? I'm essentially asking permission for it to not always feel good.
Yeah.
And she said yes, because feedback hurts sometimes. I'm going to give you really great feedback. I'm going to tell you about all the great things that you're doing. And I'm also going to tell you the things where I see growth opportunity.
Yeah.
And she has embraced this wholeheartedly. She's a rock star at her job. One of the things that she wanted to do was publicly speak more. So I just kept giving her more opportunities to publicly speak.
Yeah.
And she tried to mimic what mine looks like. You'll get that wrong every time because I've been publicly speaking for 25 years.
Yeah.
Off and on. Like I went to school for this. Right. So it's going to look different. And I want it to look different because I want you to be authentically Karina, who is goofy and funny and joyful and sweet. Like, I want it to be all of those things.
Right.
Please do not try to make it look like mine.
Yeah. Don't do an impression of me.
No.
Be you.
Yeah. Be you. And she has just so beautifully owned her flaws. When she messes up on stage, she makes a joke out of it. We all laugh and it's funny. Like,
I
we're
love
like,
that.
yes.
And everyone can take a breath.
Yes. It's not so serious because
Right.
a lot of times when I'm on stage speaking, it's the serious talk, you know, like it's the inspirational, motivational mom talk, right? So it's so fun to have been a part of her journey and to continuing to be a part of her journey and advocating for her. You know, there were conversations at a certain point. How long do you give somebody the runway to continue to go before it doesn't make sense anymore?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, no, she's got what it takes. I can see in her what is possible. She has to see what is possible in her and then be willing to take the steps to get there.
Right.
And she did. And not every person on our team has been willing to do that. You know, and so we part amicably and we still love them and we're grateful for the time that we got to serve together.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot. It's like being in the refiner's fire. And it is the same for me as well. I have 3 incredible partners that are throwing stuff at me all the times to prepare me for whatever is next.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing to me. They sat me down and said, we are really excited to partner with you. We think you're going to do great things here. You are really great at what you do. And to get ready for what is next, you got to be willing to take some harsh feedback sometimes. And you can't sit on it and let it stew. You got to take it, deal with it, and go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And every time they do it, it gets better and easier. But it's still hard sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same with anything, though, with public speaking, with taking feedback. The more that you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
The less it hurts, the more you can just like water off a duck's back. Like, you know what? You're right. Let's find a way to fix that.
Yeah.
So just doing it and growing through it.
Yeah.
What are some tools that women should have in their toolbox to deal with difficult situations at work or difficult conversations?
Oh, this one's fun. It's interesting how often this answer has come up in the past week. So one of the things that I think that society is not doing a good job of teaching is conflict.
Yeah, I agree.
We get this request at TrueU because, you know, we are teaching leaders of all levels how to be better leaders.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we get requested for a lot are conflict, communication, how to hold people accountable. And so we're hitting conflict hard. Conflict is nothing more than a type of conversation. It does not have to it just does not have to be so dramatic all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and you oftentimes do not have the conversation because you are afraid of what the reaction is going to be, of hurting their feelings because we want to be liked.
Right.
We are people pleasers, you know,
Conflict avoidant.
avoidant. And so you just don't have it. And that is wreckage for a relationship, for a business. You have to be able to have conflict conversations and what it looks like. My business partner, Mike, taught me this when I first got here because I grew up in a rough, like conflict inside of a business place for me in a couple places that I worked at was very aggressive. People screaming at each other across boardroom tables. Yeah, it did not set a good example or not dealing with the conflict at all. And he said, okay, we're on the phone. It's my very first like oopsie. And I'm sitting in a Starbucks parking lot. It's one of those moments that are embedded into your brain. And
Right, you never
he
forget.
said, nope. And he said, Amber, we're going to have some conflict. And I was dukes up, ladies and gentlemen. Like I was ready.
Hackles raised.
Yes.
Let's
I was
do
like,
this.
the hair on the back of my neck stood up and I was like, oh, he is about to see the south side of Amber Fields come out. And he said, what are you doing? He said, it's just a conversation. There is zero reason for you to be defensive. Tell me where it went wrong and tell me what you're going to do to fix it and give me the new deadline of when this is going to be done.
What a good leader.
And I was like, really? That's it?
Yeah.
It was literally, I sat there and I could feel myself like relax and go, oh, well, I have the answers to all those things. Here's where it went wrong. I didn't pre-plan. It's typically about the planning.
Yeah.
And so on. And he was like, that's it. And after that, I was like, what a great model he set for me to be able to, because now we've had millions of conflict conversations, both
Right.
as a leadership team and with our teams, right? So up and down.
Yeah.
And we have to go, you're not going over or around the conflict. You have to go through it. And through it, some of the greatest ideas have come out through the conflict. Oh, I never even thought about that. Thank you for sharing that. Our relationships are stronger. And if you have built trust, and if you have created a space of psychological safety, people will say the things and you will work through the things. And you do have to be unattached to the outcome.
Yeah.
People might get upset. People might cry because you don't know what headspace they're coming into during this time of conflict.
So many variables.
So many variables you have to be mindful of.
Right.
And you still get to have it because the conflict can't go on for too long because then it creates chaos.
Yeah.
And we can't have that either. So
at least not in a business.
Or in life, Chloe. I mean, I can think of some.
No, I love some chaos.
I guess, me too. And I have 5 kids, so I'm not exactly sure.
That is chaos incarnate.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe I've just grown used to it. But
right.
Yeah. I have a set of twins, boy-girl twins, and I was leaving, and I was just thinking, like, because it's just chaotic in our house. They've got friends over. We just got a new puppy. That was crazy. So now there's 3 dogs. I'm like, I am a glutton for punishment, like chaos. Like I just think I thrive in chaos, but my team doesn't always.
Sure. But it seems like you have a really good sense of how to facilitate it.
I do.
Keep it going.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think on most days.
Right. I mean, there's always going to be days where it just devolves, but.
Yeah. Actually, what I've done is hired people and surround myself with people who fill the gaps for me.
Right.
I can thrive in chaos and they complete me. You know, they create spaces of operational efficiency. My husband is like just the cool cucumber where he is like, it's okay. We'll figure that out. That's fine. Like he's just so chill about everything. I'm like, praise God. I needed somebody who can do that for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially with all of that going on.
Yeah.
It's much needed. Can you share an example of a time when intentional culture building led to significant success or elevation for a woman or group of women within an organization that you've advised?
Yeah. There's so many different types of examples of this. So I think, I get to live inside of this every day.
Yeah.
I work with about 100, well, if you count our clients too, 160 different types of organizations where this is an example where we're teaching people about what intentional culture even looks like.
Yeah.
Prior to COVID, culture's always been a thing, right? But post-COVID, culture now became a really big deal because people are like, oh, I can work from home. If you're going to pull me out of my house and I got to go to an office, the people better be great, the work better be meaningful and fulfilling, and the environment better be inviting for me to show up every day. So businesses are really having to elevate. And so, I can think of a couple, I won't do any name dropping here, but I can think of a couple organizations where they are really clear about the foundation of culture. And that is making sure that they have a really clear mission. Why are we doing this? They have a vision of where they're going, and they are very clear about the values that are required for us to get there. And then they communicate that out on all levels of the organization because we believe the visionaries are the one that creates the culture vision. HR builds the foundation for the culture, but it's really your mid-level managers that are living it out every day, the ones that are executing and implementing on culture. Boots on the ground. And we have done a huge disservice to our mid-level managers because they get promoted because they're really good at their jobs.
Right.
And they've never been given the appropriate tools to be a good leader. They don't know what it means to lead versus manage. And especially for the player coaches, right? We are responsible for getting the work done and coaching the people to get the additional work done. Right? We're overworked. We're overwhelmed. And we're flying by the seat of our pants. We're hoping that's the right decision. And oh, by the way, now we're creating workplace trauma.
Great.
Right. So I can think of several different organizations that we work with that really have embraced this. And a couple of the things that they do to make sure that it is not just the saying on the wall or in our handbook or on our website, it's tying them into your performance reviews. How do you hold people accountable for what we do, why we do it, and how we get it done? You tie them you bring it back to that. You talk about them all the time.
Yeah.
They are doing culture call outs in their team meetings. I saw Chloe being innovative. I saw Miriam being a servant leader, and this is what I saw them doing, so calling it out. So always pointing back to culture.
Yeah.
That is how you build cohesiveness inside of your culture. That's how you celebrate people. I think that people often forget to celebrate the anniversaries, the retention, hey, we've attracted this really great talent. We're so excited to have them, so it's all about how you celebrate also.
Yeah. It's funny that you bring up that scenario, because that is exactly what happened to me. I got into a position at the company that I'm with now, and within 4 months I got promoted, just kind of out of happenstance. But I had never been a manager. I never led a team of people in the workplace. And all of a sudden I was thrust into this position, and I learned the hard way how to do some things. Yeah. And that it was a blessing to be able to have those scenarios happen and get better through them. But it also would have been nice if previously in my career I had learned some more leadership skills and how to deal with holding people accountable and, how to reinforce culture with people. Like, that would have eased my journey a little bit.
I think one of the greatest challenges we have as a leader is we want to approach people from our leadership style versus understanding where your team comes from. Yeah. So us as a leader, we have to be adaptable. We teach a class called situational and adaptive leadership, because we have to really get to know our people. If I'm a young person, and I'm sure there's probably a ton of young people listening, and you are aspiring or you are a young leader, I'm here to tell you the greatest asset you're ever going to bring is your ability to adjust and to really get to know your people and understand how to communicate with them.
Right.
When you build trust with them, create that psychologically safe space for them to have a conversation with you, right. So that you can work through the hard things, because work is hard. Life is hard at times, Amen. Right? And so you've got to be able to adjust and adapt yourself to be able to be approachable.
Yeah.
And take care of your people.
Know what they need.
Yeah. Karina is another, we had to walk through some pretty tough times as she was walking through some challenging things in her life. And she didn't come out and say, I'm walking through some challenging things. I had to call it out in her.
Yeah.
And I had to say, I'm noticing some behaviors that are not normal for you. Is everything okay? And she, shared with me what was going on. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those, I was scared to death, because I was like, I don't want to overstep here, but I also care about her.
Right.
I love her for who she is for us and the work that she has done. And it really brought us closer together, and she felt seen.
Yeah, I bet it was really meaningful for her that you had noticed these patterns in her, and that the way that she was acting was not consistent with who you knew. And you were like, there has to be some variable that has changed that has.
And how can I help?
Yeah.
How can I offer help? And so we walked through the ways that we, me as an individual, can support her, but our company. Right. How can our company wrap our arms around you during this time? Because at the end of the day, we're all people. We're people having human experiences.
Right. We're all on earth for the first time.
Right. Trying to figure it out. Yeah. So that's I always think, like I said, faith is a big thing for me. And when I think about on earth as it is in heaven, how can I treat somebody the way that God would treat them? Right. If they were sitting right in front of them. That's really my approach. Not everybody's approach, but mine.
Yeah. And I think it's beautiful, and it's a good touch point to come back to.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
As a leader and a dynamic connector, what concrete steps do you take to ensure that the women that you bring to the table are not just present, but set up for success and influence?
Yeah. I think it's really understanding what they need. I meet with so many people all the time. It's one of the greatest gifts. And one of my greatest gifts is communication, connector, and community builder. Yeah. And so I love pouring into the next generation, male or female, it doesn't matter to me. But really understanding where are you right now? And where are you trying to get to? How can I help you get to where you are trying to go to? Mm-hmm. And then finding people, because I have a belief in having a personal board of directors. And so you have to be surrounded by people who are different than you, who have a different background, who are of different ages than you, because you don't know everything.
Right.
And you've got to have that person to call, when you need something, when you need to understand this particular thing. So I have 8 to 10 people of all different backgrounds, all different races, all different ages that I can go to and say, I'm stuck. I need help, or I need reinforced. I need to remember who I am because I'm walking through a really tough situation. And so I encourage people to begin. Your social capital is everything.
I love that idea of the board of directors.
Yeah, I quite literally would not be sitting here or be where I am in my career or in my life without my village, without that personal board of directors to lean on, who saw me, who helped me see the things that I was really good at,
right,
and could tell me the areas where I could grow, so I could continue to thrive in my career.
Yeah, that's been such a major through line with all the work that we've done with More over the past 5 going on 6 years is people that see you and value you, how they can help you learn and grow and find resources and continue to become better and more well-rounded and ask good questions and figure out where you even want to be.
Yeah. Well, we don't have all the answers right now. I think it's hard, especially for kids coming out of high school right now.
Yeah.
We don't spend enough time helping them understand who they are as people.
Not at all.
We're trying to get them to make a really quick decision with zero data.
Right.
No understanding of, and going into debt, or your parents going into debt, for you to try on a few things, to see what's going to stick.
Right.
And, oh, by the way, you come out, and unless you want to be a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, those things are not always really clear.
Right.
And so I think we need to start hitting younger generation earlier, from like 5th grade and on, to really help them see this is who you are. This is what you're really good at.
Right.
These are the things that you're really drawn to. And here are jobs that are non-traditional that you could be looking at to get started in.
Yeah. I think it's so amazing. I was one of the oldest people in my class. I turned 18 like the August of my senior year of high school. So I was 19 going into college, but regardless, I was a child. You think about that time in your life, and we're asking these kids whose prefrontal cortex is not fully developed
For sure.
to make a decision about the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And it is baffling a little bit.
Yeah, it is hard. I mentioned I have 5 kids. My oldest, he's my stepson, but we've been together for 23 years. So him and his sister, they're my kids, and their mom will say so as well. He's 25, going to be 26 this year, and he is in the military because we don't require our kids. We're like, if you want to go to college, you can. We'll support you in that. If you don't, that's fine too, but you have to do something.
Right.
And he was like, he lived in our basement for like a year with no plan.
Classic.
And I was like, no, sir, you have a couple options. You absolutely can go to school and we will support you in that. You can go work full time, but you won't live here doing it.
Right.
Or you can go to the military and then give some time for you to grow and mature and figure out what you want to do after that. So he's been in the military for, I think, 7 or 8 years. And he decided this year to go active duty. He got married. He's got a baby. So doing great, but we give them the space and freedom to just figure it out.
Right.
No pressure. You just have to do something.
Yeah.
My second one went to school to be a teacher, and it was during COVID, and she was on online school, and she was like, nope, not doing
so
that.
hard.
She's a very successful hairstylist. Yes, mine.
Okay.
And I got a compliment today that my hair was spectacular. I was like, I have a really great girl.
It's
my kid. So she's in Fishers, if you're looking.
Yeah.
And then my 21-year-old is going to school, but she is a barista at Starbucks. She has a really great story because she went to Purdue for a year and studied biology. She was going to do something else. And
great program at Purdue. 5
days before she went back for her sophomore year, she walked into our bedroom and said, I'm not going back. She'd already paid for her room, her apartment.
Oh, no.
$750 a month.
Wow.
Uh-huh. We'd already paid for the semester, which is fine. We got that money back. But, but it was very brave and courageous. And she said, this is one of the proudest parent moments, even though it was painful. She said, I heard you, Mom, when you said you went to school to be a television news anchor, spent $80,000 on a career that you didn't even follow because you chose to raise kids, which is fine. But I needed to make this move faster so I didn't go into so much more debt for a career I didn't even want to do anymore.
Ouch.
And I was like, right. So yes, thank you for listening to me. We'll figure it out. And so now she lives in Florida with her boyfriend who's in the Navy. He's in flight school.
Cool.
Starbucks is paying for her to go to school.
Okay.
And now she's going to go be a flight attendant.
That is awesome.
Guys, what I'm talking about is the freedom to be who you were created to be and not have the pressure to know between the ages of 18 and 25.
Right.
Try it on for size. Figure it out. You know, ask a lot of questions and help surround yourself with people that will tell you and help you see who you are. People that will mirror to you, right, who you are.
Yeah, and not force you down this path that they just assume every kid has to go down. Like, you know, like you said, there are a lot of options, whether it's college, work, going into the military or a program or vocational school or, you know, whatever that may be. Everyone's path looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
And even if you switch schools or switch majors or switch careers, like that.
It's okay.
Yeah. It's all meaningful.
It's all okay. And there's something to be learned every step of the way.
Yeah.
So I have no regrets. Yes, I have an $80,000 degree that I paid for myself, still paying for. And because then I decided to go back and get my master's. And then I stopped doing that because it's a long story for another day. I felt called to ministry. So I'm halfway through my master's of divinity.
Amazing.
But running a company and raising kids, probably not the best time. I will go back eventually at some point and get it, but because I'm a closer, like I got to finish. Like I can't be halfway on anything.
Right.
But yeah, it is okay. I was the first person in my family to go to college and it was meaningful and it meant something. It still means something today. I still clearly get to use this degree.
Right.
Because everybody communicates, right? Everybody gets to hear your voice.
Right.
You know, and I mean that for other people, not just for myself. You have a voice. It matters. Use it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that so much. What advice do you have for women who want to be more intentional about cultivating and protecting these spaces where their female peers can thrive without necessarily holding this formal leadership title?
Yeah. So I believe that everybody is a leader. You are influencing whether by title or not. So you are leading and influencing, whether it's at home with your families, whether it's your peers, your parents. I mean, you are leading someone somewhere.
Right.
Somebody's looking to you for an answer for something.
Yeah.
And so my advice is to own it. Pay attention to what you are creating around you. Are you being positive? Are you uplifting? Are you empowering? Are you helpful and serving? You know, pay attention and be intentional about the spaces that you are creating and how you're showing up inside of those spaces.
Yeah.
Because people are watching you and they are listening to you. And they are going to want more of that and be around you more often, or they'll be avoidant because you may not be. And it is okay to not be always in the best headspace, right? Because we're all dealing with some things that are heavy. And we can't stay there. You know, we've got to keep moving. We got to keep going forward. And so, yeah, I just think pay attention because you have the possibility to impact even just one person's life with who you are, what you've done in your life, how you show up. I think it's funny because this generation is very like heads down in their phones, in their electronics, and us as the later generations are having to like really lean it. We have to adjust too to how they communicate, but they need to put their heads up and be seen, right? Because they are also very influential, not just on the game, right? Not just on their phones, but like they've got to figure out how to be influential in real life.
Yeah.
With people.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to me to have these 5 generations in the workplace and how we operate together and how we impact one another.
Yeah.
I just think people need to be aware.
Yeah, I agree. It's been very fun for me because I'm 29 and I have 21-year-old twin younger brothers, and one of them is at Ball State. He has switched his major a few times. He's studying abroad in Barcelona right now, and he is very much in that period of figuring out what his influence is, who he even is as a person, like how he affects the people around him. And he's figuring out how to be a positive influence because he is he's just got this little heart of gold. He's such a sweet person. And I think he's just figuring out how he can use that. Yeah. And it's been really, really fun to watch that happen for him.
Yeah.
But you're so right. Like they don't get as many tools. I don't think they don't get like the emotional support to figure out who they really are. Yeah. They're doing a lot of that on their own, and they're doing a lot of it influenced by so many other people because our network has blown up
everywhere. I mean, and they're being influenced not necessarily by truth.
Yeah.
Right? Because anybody can say anything on social media anymore.
Right.
And people can hide behind. It's not even it's so inauthentic, right? But young girls are listening to, like, my 14-year-old, almost 15-year-old twin girl, like, somebody said to her at school one day that she didn't like her dress. This was when she was like 6. Do you know that she didn't wear dresses for like 5 years?
No.
Their little brains are just so malleable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so social media, all they're hearing is, seeing is, you got to be skinny, you got to be fit, live the fun. Like, these people, these are not actually these people's lives, honey. Right. Like, it is okay to, like, in real life, sometimes, like, it does not matter what size, the way that you look, how you show up. Like, we're not living in any fantasy here, kid. Like, life can be hard.
Yeah, and they probably edited that picture anyway.
Right, and you can aspire to just be.
Yeah.
You don't have to be anything that this world tells you to be other than who God created you to be.
Yeah.
That's the only requirement. That's it. The other thing, Chloe, I would say that came to me just now as you were talking was be curious. Curiosity will get you really far in this life. Be curious about yourself, about who you are, what is possible for you, but most importantly, be curious about other people also.
Yeah.
Because we are so quick to jump on assumptions, and we hear or see and make this judgment call. No, how about you tell me more about that?
Yeah.
Tell me more about why you think that way. Tell me more about your life, where you came from. I think curiosity is something that will get us really far in life. And I think that we have forgotten, how to do that and how to be that way.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of what I think is so valuable about the stories that we share is that they are completely unique to each person. Yes. And we can glean what we need to from people's experiences. Even if we haven't experienced a second of it, there's some kernel of truth there that we can pull from it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I love that so much. Well, thank you very much for being here with me today.
You're welcome.
You were an excellent guest,
thank you.
as to be expected, since you have some experience in the realm.
I hope so. my chief of staff always says, "Don't screw it up, Amber." I'm like, "No pressure. Thanks, Kristen. Appreciate you."
It's a little more PC way of saying it than, like, RuPaul's. I don't know if you've ever watched Drag Race.
Oh, yeah.
That's what came to mind just now.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your voice, sharing your story. Thank you guys for listening and being here. Make sure to join us next week when we have another episode of Let's Talk More on Monday. Make sure to check out our Patreon and our Masterclass series, which we're so excited to launch this year with our host, Bria Bradley, and Ariana Cruz continuing to share her expertise as well as our founder. And make sure to check out moremagazine.org for previous stories, our shop where you can purchase previous articles or merch that allows us to continue our mission of making opportunities reachable for everyone. And thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next week. Thanks,
Bye,
Amber.
You're welcome.
Bye.
See ya.